Game FPS is one of the most competitive game genres on mobile. Mostly players who love to play a competition and really want to become the number one will try to find the best FPS game on mobile. The graphic, gameplay, the spec requirements is the most aspect they need to know, and this video we will show you off Top 12 Best FPS Games Android 2023 High Graphic FPS Game that you can play online FPS and offline FPS. You can support this channel and send us a special thanks. Arena Breakout Light. Arena Breakout Light. Good news for you who have the low spec phone to mid spec phone but really want to play a high graphic FPS game. Arena Breakout Light will easily be compatible on your phone and has lower game size. I also noticed the game story is different as well, but really good for us to enjoy the narration. The game is absolutely the same as Arena Breakout FPS full version. We will need to go to the extraction point on the opponent's area to make sure we can clear the stage smoothly. We can loot the enemy that we have been killed and get their guns or ammo for our supply weapon. We will not play alone because there are some allies that will assist us from the front line or back line. The best new FPS games with high graphic FPS that is compatible for lower spec phones is Arena Breakout Light. Armed Conflict. Armed Conflict Shooting Games. This game is just a new release FPS game on Android iOS. As we all know, we will play against online players in real-time multiplayer in deathmatch mode. But honestly, the level of the enemies is way too weak. It feels like I play against the bots. Most of the enemies don't notice our presence, but it makes sense because this game is a new FPS. The developers need to get a bad or good feedback from the player, but I highly recommend you to play this best FPS game on your mid to low spec phone, and also the graphics are incredible. The game area places in the village such a unique FPS area, right? At the moment we are only able to play in the team deathmatch because the other mode is on development. Actually, I see a huge potential in this FPS in the future. The best FPS game Android like CSGO in lower spec games. Combat Master Mobile. Combat Master Mobile. No one can make the best FPS game offline with such fast gameplay just like Combat Master Mobile does. Not only is the gameplay really addictive, but the graphics are number one. Honestly, it has a similar PC graphic games FPS. When you play in offline mode, the level of the enemies is really difficult, and they have an accurate aim from a short distance or long distance. So don't underestimate the offline mode of Combat Master Mobile Game 1. If you think you are strong enough, then play it online and get the real-time multiplayer FPS mode with super challenging. The game has been optimized really well for mobile platforms. The spec needs at least for mid-spec phone. Absolutely my favorite best FPS game mobile now. Rage Effect Mobile. Rage Effect Mobile. This game is on alpha test. Only a certain player can enjoy this game. I feel like this game is quite laggy, and I totally understand it's because it is still in development. The game's graphic can be set into ultra setting with high graphic, but the game size is very small. It's about 264 MB. Impressive, right? The game allows the player to choose 3 modes. Team Deathmatch is able to choose the right server, gun race mode, and free for all modes. However, the boss level is so easy to kill. This game is very good for FPS player who's looking for an easy to win FPS game on Android iOS. World War Heroes. World War Heroes WW2 PvP FPS. This game is the best World War FPS games on mobile with the medieval era. Finally, we can enjoy the next sequel of WW2 Heroes after the previous version has been successfully on global. This FPS game has quite slow movement that makes it feel more realistic, just like the war in real life. The graphics are absolutely perfect. Even the far view distance looks super detailed. The combat mechanism is I really need the developers to add a dodge button or void button to let the other FPS games lover enjoy the lifeliness movement. We will play in the 5-minute rundowns. The team with the highest score will win the battle. The best realistic FPS game Android iOS. Call of Duty Mobile. Call of Duty Mobile, I would like to say this FPS game is one of the most successful ported game from console or PC to Android iOS devices. The game is downloaded by 50 million players and keeps making all of the players active. The community on FPS eSport Mobile is getting crazy big with a huge reward and amount. The gameplay of Call of Duty Mobile is we must take the enemy's flag and put it on our side. If you think the enemy is way too difficult, then try to use your support like launching a rocket missile from top down and giving area of effect, but in a limited number. The best FPS game on Android iOS now. Battlezone PvP FPS shooter. This best FPS shooter game is just needs under 200 MB to run this beautiful offline FPS game on mobile. Absolutely a very small size, but the quality is really good. The game controller needs to increase a little bit about the sensitivity to make the player easily locking the enemy or targeting the enemy in a faster combat. We can jump, crouch, change the secondary weapon or primary weapon, and take your knife for close combat fight. Battlezone PvP FPS shooter allows the player to play safely even if you are not a master level on FPS, because the enemy's hold point is lower than us. So shooting on them will kill them in a flash. The best FPS offline game multiplayer play with bots on mobile. Cosmic Crackdown. Wow, such a beautiful game design of new best FPS games offline. The game art style seems super fun, just look at all of the enemies. It has a cute design at all. The gameplay is we must clear all of the enemies to be able to move forward into the next level. Every time our character level ups, then you can pick one ability to upgrade, like extra damage, rate of fire and critical damage. Sometimes you will find some chests that has a new weapon to pick up. We can only jump and it doesn't have any dodge buttons, so shooting while moving is a nice way to avoid the enemy's forces. This best graphic FPS game mobile can be played in offline mode. Carnage Wars. Seriously, this new FPS game has similar gameplay with Combat Master Mobile. It has a fast movement, fast combat, and we need to anticipate the enemy's attack from many directions. The enemy will come in massive forces, even the enemy is a bot, but I can feel how intense this FPS game is. On Carnage Wars, we already can pick so many modes. Not only just a team deathmatch, we also can try flag capture mode. We need to capture the enemy's flag and bring it to our base to get the point. The third mode is Infection. We should survive from the infection player as long as we can. And it has more modes which are Conquest, Patrol, and Sabotage. Such the best FPS game Android iOS with so many modes and features it has. Battle Prime. This game is a hidden gem of FPS game genre. It has PC quality graphic and beyond the other mobile FPS games we know. The control and the movement is really impressive with a perfect competitive gameplay. This game is the real-time multiplayer FPS game because you will enjoy the highest intensity in combat. There is TPS or FPS mode we can switch in-game, so it is depend on what makes you feel more comfortable. I would like to rate this game 10 to 10, no doubt about it. Rust Legends. Rust Legends FPS hero shooter. This game is absolutely amazing for an anime FPS game online multiplayer for Android iOS. The game has beautiful character selections. Each character has their own unique special abilities and different types of weapon, so we cannot change their weapon. We are only able to buy the character by unlocking them with some gold coins. The gameplay is absolutely perfect. We can run on the wall and it will make us faster to reach our destination. Trying to dodge the enemy with the jump button is possible. I remember playing this game before offline, but now we should be connecting to the internet to play this game. Best anime FPS game Android iOS. Critical Strike CS. Critical Strike CS Online FPS. The game name is really eye-catching because it's quite similar to the CSGO mobile game's name Strike. That makes most players want to try this best FPS game. The gameplay is quite slow and we cannot run faster, only walking all the way. The level of difficulty is very low. I feel like playing against the bot. They don't attack me in the right spot, but overall I would like to recommend this game for the newbie player, because you can take it really easy and good to learn FPS games with high quality graphics. The best FPS game High Graphics Android iOS.